You remember? Cop puts a woman in the back of a police car, leaves the police car on the train track, and the train, well, here it is. Put it up. So that now ex-cop who left a woman on the train track has been convicted. Jordan Steinke, a former Fort Lupton co-officer, has been convicted by a judge. And the charges, 2 out of the 3 charges brought against her. So let me give you some of the background. The charges stem from a botched arrest that resulted in the woman being handcuffed. She was placed in the back of the patrol car. Patrol car was placed on a train track that's active. And that individual was hit by a train, a freight train. So Jordan, the cop, was fired following the conviction. Following the conviction, not before. Judge Timothy Kerns found the ex-officer guilty of 2 misdemeanors, reckless endangerment and 3rd-degree assault, after a 5-day trial, stating she ignored what she consciously observed, and noting that the railroad tracks and signs on the highway were visible, ABC News reported. Now, I want to remind everybody, the defense decided to do a trial by judge, okay? All right, although initially there was a felony charge for attempted reckless manslaughter. The officer who waived her right to a jury trial ultimately was acquitted on that particular count by the judge. So while this looks like a conviction, it is not. The judge dismissed, acquitted the officer of the most heinous offense, but decided to convict on the lesser offenses. Irony is, the lesser offenses indicate the larger one. Lawyers for the young lady, Rios-Gonzalez, say the client's life is forever changed because of the officer's recklessness on September 16th, 2022. The young mother suffered a fractured tibia, a broken arm, 9 broken ribs, a fractured sternum. She allegedly even suffered a traumatic brain injury. With her lawyers, she has filed a civil lawsuit against the officers involved. Video showed the officer handcuffed Ms. Rios-Gonzalez under suspicion of involvement in a road rage case and placed her into the patrol car. The 21-year-old can be heard questioning the officer about where she was going, to which the officer responds that she's taking her to one of the patrol cars, which was parked on an active train track. The officer then left Ms. Rios-Gonzalez alone in this police cruiser while she conducted a search of the suspect's vehicle. During this time, the officers and the victim heard the loud sound of an approaching freight train. Before the officer or Platteville Police Officer Sergeant Pablo Vasquez, who was also investigating the road rage incident, could react to the train colliding with the car containing Rios-Gonzalez. This is how the patrol car looked following the collision. Okay? It is a miracle that this woman survived. The cop who did it got convicted of misdemeanors. Vasquez is also facing 8 misdemeanor charges in the case, as it was his vehicle that was parked on the tracks he has also been terminated, is awaiting his criminal case. Now get this. Now he's not the person that put her there. He's the person that parked the car there. All right, that's a property issue. Okay, that's just a property issue. The other cop, she decides to put a human being in that property. She gets convicted of 2 misdemeanors. This man has 8 misdemeanors for a property issue. This is why we're so messed up. There's a whole human being whose life is forever changed. The judge does the, I'm convicting you, but I'm not. The headline is, cop gets convicted for BS. The officer was an officer until the conviction. The department didn't even take it seriously. She was still being paid by taxpayers, even though she damn near killed a whole human being because of criminal negligence, something that anyone else would have been charged for and convicted based on the felony statute. Because what does the felony statute say? Your negligence was known because you had a certain knowledge of the danger. You don't think an officer who works that beat knows that that's a train track? You don't think the officer who works that beat understands that train track is active and still put a person in danger because, well, let's face it, she just didn't give a damn about the life of the individual. All right, Jeff, thoughts?
Yet another example of property over people. I cannot for the life of me understand why someone would park their car there when the few times a year where I go over train tracks, I'm keenly aware of it. There's signs, and when you go over the tracks themselves, there's a big bump on your car. And I can't understand why an officer would put a woman in the car that's on the tracks. As I'm understanding, there may have been another vehicle available. None of this makes sense. Not one aspect or element of this story makes sense. And then, look, I understand what the attorneys do. I respect that. But one said, this accident has haunted Officer Steinke every single day since it occurred. It was a horrific accident. What are we talking about? Compare that to how the victim feels. But
right,
just doing a job, I understand that. But man, none of this makes any sense.
I mean, damn, Judge, can you at least make her pay for everything? Pay for the hospital bills, the rehabilitation, something to show that you are human yourself. All right, we'll update as it comes. Looks like the other cop going on trial himself.